Hello and welcome to another edition of the Pacers Pride Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Emerson, and alongside me, as always, my good co-host, Dylan Deanhart. I'm finally back in the studio. So we are back I'm back after spending my summer, away from here. Dylan, I know, thank you for holding down the fort.
No problem.
As you were here over the summer taking a couple classes, I know.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you holding down the fort.
Slowly but surely.
But we also want to apologize real quick for the audio issues that we had in our last stream. The audio was not working on our streaming service system that we use. I guess that'd be the correct term. And so this is the second stream we troubleshooted everything and we're good. Thank you to whoever commented in our stream that we were not talking. We appreciate that.
We were talking.
Well, we were talking. It's just we couldn't be heard.
I'm just an idiot. So.
No, I mean, I don't blame you. We genuinely appreciate it. But we're going to go back and talk about just the overall schedule that the Pacers had because it was released after we had our last show over the summer. So basically what we hit on was the 4 games against Philly were all in prime time. The Pacers in general had 12 primetime games, which was like a trillion times more percent, I guess.
10 times more than last year.
Sure, yeah. My math isn't the greatest, as you guys can probably tell. But, yeah, they have 12 now compared to, 1 or 2 that they had last year.
Yeah, the 2 against OKC last year.
And so, Dylan, I know you had some thoughts on the schedule as we were scrolling through it.
Yeah, I think that we have a very beginning and bottom heavy schedule in terms of difficulty. The middle we kind of have a relatively light, I'll say, schedule. But at the beginning we start out with the Grizzlies, Bucks, get the Timberwolves, which who knows what that team's going to be like.
It's the Timber Bulls. Come on.
And then we get the Spurs. Spurs and Cavs we travel
on
to
the road.
Spurs and Cavs.
Words are hard. It's okay.
Yeah, which will be interesting to see the new face of the Cavaliers without LeBron and pretty much all of their talent.
Basically, it would be Kevin Love now. I would probably think I guess if you had to put a face.
Yeah, I guess
on the Cavs.
I think Tristan Thompson wants to be not for talent's sake, but just the face to be for the face. But then we get a really big early season test against the Rockets with almost back-to-back games on November 5th and 11th. And in between that, we have the 76ers, the Jazz, Spurs. Then we get our old Lake. We have to travel to our Lakers and see our old friend Lance Stevenson on November 29th, which will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect of that game.
No one knows what to expect from the Lakers, to be quite. Well, people know what to expect from LeBron. His teammates, on the other hand, no one has any idea.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting team to keep track of throughout the entire season. But like I said, the beginning has some rough opponents, some early season tests, which I appreciate. Kind of see where we are at and where we need to improve upon. So.
Yeah, and another thing that I was touching on is I think later in the year, like mid-March, this team I think will probably have their toughest test of the season. They go to, I'm scrolling, there we go. We have a home game right before we go on this Western Conference road trip, we have a home game against the Thunder on the 14th. Then we play all on the road. We play the Nuggets, the Trailblazers, the Clippers, the Warriors. Then we come back home for one game to play the Nuggets again, and then we go to OKC and to Boston. So that in the March 14th through the 29th, that will probably be the Pacers' toughest stretch of the year by far. It's, as you mentioned, it's going to be a test to see where this team is at. Well, hopefully where the Pacers team has is in good shape coming into this, and hopefully healthy.
We're not fighting for an 8th spot.
Yeah.
Playoffs, so.
Hopefully have one of those top 4 seeds, like hopefully in grasps. But we do get a reprieve kind of towards the end of the year, because after that we play the Magic, we play the Pistons twice in this stupid like home and home type thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those things.
I'm not either. It's just really stupid if you ask me. Then we have a game against Boston, but then we finish out the regular season with 2 games against the Nets and the Hawks. So
yeah, we have 5 out of our 6 last games are against teams that did not make the playoffs last year. So.
Yeah, and the Pistons, I would imagine, may be fighting for that playoff spot, so they may be playing with some desperation. Let's hope the Pacers aren't playing with desperation at that point.
Yeah.
But that's just a really overarching view of the schedule. Another game to keep on tap is, I'm scrolling back up though, Tuesday, February 5th, the Lakers. Dylan mentioned how we go to the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Lakers come to Bankers Life on Tuesday, February 5th. That's going to be Lance's homecoming. We said, we hope that they give him some sort of a tribute video. I would not be opposed to that at all. And get to see LeBron come back to Bankers Life for the first time since the playoffs.
And the first time in the Western Conference.
Yeah, that team's just going to be fun to watch. I guess not fun to watch. Interesting is a better word.
Yeah.
To see how they do in that tough Western Conference. But yeah, that's an overarching view of the schedule. The Pacers have, as we mentioned, 12 primetime games, all 4 against Philly. We have some, I believe, 2 against the Knicks, 1 against the Bucks maybe, a couple against the Celtics. And so the Pacers and Sixers may start a little, I guess, rivalry, with all 4 games being on prime time.
I know the details are 1's on ABC. I assume that's probably the Lakers at Bankers Life, I would imagine. Then 3 on TNT, and then 8 on ESPN.
Hey, so, I mean, prime time's prime time, so depending on kind of the announcers we get, but we'll see about that.
You pretty much, not for the most part. I mean, we'll probably get the early announcers, which will probably be Reggie for TNT. ABC will probably be Van Gundy. Yeah, Van Gundy. And
Van Gundy can be, depending on the day, for Van Gundy for me.
Yeah.
On my opinion.
Van Gundy can either be really funny and just entertaining, or just downright annoying.
Yeah.
Depending on the
game. Depending on the game and how it's going. But we won't stick to our opinions on our commentators. But we're gonna move on and talk about how Nate McMillan. It was over the summer. It was rumored / just debated. I guess not debated, but talked about how Nate McMillan may get a contract extension from the Pacers. And a couple weeks ago, it was finally announced that he received a 2-year extension to remain with the team through 2021. We weren't able to find any financial terms of how much exactly he's going to get paid. But Dylan, I just know you had some thoughts on how it was well deserved. And
yeah, I didn't feel like it's not like he was undeserving of this extension. He's 90-74 in 2 seasons as a head coach, which is at least over 500, so that's more than we can ask for. But yeah, I don't think he's done anything that would unwarrant this extension. I thought he put us in a great position to take us over to beat the Cavs. I think we were just one piece away, Tyreek, from beating the Cavs. But I think he's very deserving. What he's done with this team has been impressive, nonetheless. Given that most people, when we were in this position last year, did not give us a shot at all. So to put us in the position that we were in, I think it alone is deserving of this extension. So. Yeah.
And we were a call, arguably a goaltend, which. Still, I will still be salty about that call. And then, obviously, LeBron hits a crazy 3-pointer to win in last postseason. But Nate did a phenomenal job. You could arguably say he outcoached Tyronn Lue in that series. So just done.
Tyronn Lue wasn't. I still believe that he was not a head coach.
Yeah. There are those people out there who say LeBron, no matter where he goes, will be the coach, and that's granted. I will probably stick to that too because you see him just yelling at his teammates, telling them this is how we're going to do things, and kind of like a quarterback, he audibles. Like, kind of think of him as Peyton Manning. He audibles every time at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
But so well-deserved, Nate. Congratulations, and we look forward to watching this season unfold. Next, we're going to talk about a little predictions in the Eastern Conference since the balance of power has kind of shifted drastically with LeBron going out to L.A. You still have, Dylan and I both think Boston is obviously the clear-cut favorite to win the East. But Dylan, I know you had the Pacers, what was it, third in the East, I believe you mentioned?
Yeah, I put them in third as of tentatively, because the big question mark in the East, I feel like, is the Toronto Raptors. I have no idea what to expect from them. They have a new head coach, barring after their last one Coach of the Year, and then they got rid of arguably one of their top 2 stars in DeRozan to San Antonio, and now they get a player in Kawhi Leonard that we haven't seen play in a year, and we don't know really what to expect play-wise out of him. So I don't know how this team's going to mesh. I know Kyle Lowry's been kind of upset with the organization all summer. I don't know if he's going to mail it in, request something, or release or something. But as of right now, I will give the edge to the Pacers, if only because I feel like they're more of a team than the Toronto Raptors. So I think my top 3 is Boston, Philly, and Indiana.
And the Pacers.
And then the rest is probably Raptors, Wizards, and then whoever doesn't implode on themselves.
I think the Wizards may do that, but because it seems wherever Dwight Howard goes.
Hey, he had a good year last year, I will say that.
He did, and so we're going to see if he can do that again in Washington. But I agree with you. I think the Pacers get, if I had to predict right now, I'd probably say the 3. If everything goes well, like it did last year, I could maybe see this team getting the 2 seed because granted, Philly their starting 5 is ridiculously talented with Embiid, Simmons, then Markelle Fultz is looking like he can actually shoot the ball now. And can't forget JJ Redick, who I'm going to remember is just hitting that ridiculous fadeaway 3-pointer over Miles Turner last year. Got Sarge, who can stretch the floor as well, and Covington, who made right with Victor Oladipo, first-team all-defense. Yeah. So he's no slouch either. I do have questions, though, about their bench. They did get rid of, not get rid of, but didn't re-sign Marco Bellinelli, Ersan Ilyasova, so they lost some shooting off the bench, and I think that's where the Pacers can kind of take advantage of the Sixers squad. So we'll see about that, and I'm right up there with you with Toronto. I'm not for sure how they're going to perform. They always perform, it seems like, in the regular season, but choking.
Yeah, that was Dwayne Casey's team. So.
Yeah, and we don't even know how this new head coach is going to implement his system and stuff like that. So there's a lot of question marks with Toronto. They're going to have to answer some questions about how they're going to play. Kawhi, if he gets back to where he was, they could be a dangerous team, but we'll see. So I think we're going to agree and both put the Pacers at 3 right now.
Yeah.
So we will, switching topics, we're going to be talking about Pacers basketball actually starting up on Thursday.
Yeah.
The Pacers play their first preseason game Thursday against the Rockets. I know it's preseason, but this is going to be the first look the fans get at the team, and all 4 games are going to be on the road. Probably some events going on in Baker's life, I would think, that may have caused that.
Even then, I still like that you get 4 road games just to kind of get, because we know they can perform well in Baker's life. So it's good to just see how they perform on the road. So.
Yeah, and actually, all 3, since 4 of these games, we have the game will be on ESPN. The preseason game against the Bulls will be on ESPN. 2 of them on Fox Sports Indiana, and the one against the Rockets on NBA TV.
I get to see my boy Vince.
Dylan, is there, I guess, what are you looking forward to watching in the preseason? I know it's not like full out and what you're going to see come the regular season, but there has to be some things that you're looking forward to.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most out of this preseason, I know what to expect out of our starting 5. I know what to expect out of Tyreek. And the one thing I want to see the most is Aaron Holiday. I want to see his progression from training camp, from summer league into preseason play. I feel like he's going to get the bulk of the point guard minutes. I feel like they'll most likely rest Collison for the majority, maybe 1 or 2 quarters at most he'll play. So I'm anxious to see how Aaron Holiday works within the starting 12 roster.
Yeah.
See how he works with them. I want to see some progress. I know rumors are that he's just going to be a G League for the majority of his rookie year, which I feel is a great luxury to have because I feel like he could be a starting or at least a backup point guard and on any other team, at least from what we saw in the summer league.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to see how he performs this preseason. I think he's the player to watch. Him and TJ Leaf, see if he kind of dials or gets back into rhythm after a really what most thought of as a letdown of the summer league. So that's the 2 players I'm looking forward to most because I know Victor probably won't play that much. Miles probably won't see that many minutes. I know, although I would like to see what Miles' transformation has done for him, but I think those 2 players are going to be the ones that stand out the most.
Yeah, a player I'm kind of really interested to see, and if he plays at all, I would think he would since he's a bench player. Kyle O'Quinn, I really want to see how he fits in. I think he's going to provide us with a lot more rebounding off the bench, and he can stretch the floor, believe it or not. I didn't think he could shoot threes until I looked up his stats when I was doing an article about him. He can stretch the floor and knock down some threes. Obviously has a good mid-range game. He basically, I think he may have been asked about it, but I think he's going to kind of take the Al Jefferson approach.
I was going to say, he's kind of a mixture of Al Jefferson and Trevor Booker.
Mm-hmm. But I think he should see some minutes, probably at the either backup 4 or 5, wherever we want to throw Domas in. But he's a good veteran to have. And I also want to see, you mentioned Aaron Holiday, because we all know next year, not this upcoming season, but next year he's probably going to be, I would be hesitant to say the starting point guard, but maybe.
I don't think we will resign Collison, only because he's, 30, he'll be 32.
Yeah.
So I think we will probably go towards
Aaron Holiday. Yeah, and kind of groom him this year to be the starting point guard, obviously, of the future for the Pacers. And speaking of we were talking about the Cavs earlier, we will get to see them play. I know it's preseason and everything, but we will get to see our good friend Tristan Thompson, who didn't even mention us when he was talking smack about the Eastern Conference. He was mentioning the Boston, Philly, and Toronto.
Yeah.
Doesn't even mention the team that almost took him out of the playoffs. And speaking of which, he didn't show up in the playoffs till like game 6 or 7. So,
but he's giving some credit. He was one of the major reasons that they did.
Yeah, because he started to rebound like he always has and everything. But then I want to touch on the last topic that we're going to get into today, and that's excuse me. Just the overall, I guess, mindset of this team and what we look to expect. Just because we have so many, I don't want to say we have so many new pieces, but we have Doug McDermott, we have Tyreek, we have Kyle O'Quinn, and Thad Young did end up opting in, thank God. Mm-hmm. So this team, I think the chemistry, I've been reading articles saying this team's chemistry is already growing from what it was last year, and the new guys are just fitting into what this team had last year and what a special year it could be. So Dylan, what do you think, I guess, the overall, I'm trying to think of the season goal and the mindset that this team should have, with the chemistry they had last year and then the new players?
I don't want to say finals or bust, but I feel like it's almost kind of what their mentality should be. I
like it.
At the very least, I think we need to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
I think that's our base. That's the lowest expectation we should have.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could take Boston out and go to the finals. Now, winning the finals is a whole other discussion.
Oh yeah.
I don't. Depending on who makes it out of the West, and that's going to be a story in itself.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the talent to go up with the Warriors and all their All-Stars, or the Rockets in their shooting. So I think at the very least, this team needs to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And I'm right there with you, and I think we could give the Celtics maybe 6 or 7 games, because this team is... I'm really looking forward to watching this bench play, because if Doug McDermott is shooting threes the way we know he can, if, Sabonis could be a most improved candidate.
Yeah.
And you have Kojo, who's really good defensively. You have Tyreek, who could win Sixth Man of the Year, potentially, obviously. You have Eric Gordon and Lou Williams and those guys. But I love the depth of this team, and I've been saying this could be the best bench in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a stretch in saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you when saying Eastern Conference Finals.
That's the bar.
That should be the bar for this team, because they have that talent. With Vic, looks like he could maybe contend for... People have been saying maybe Vic for MVP or be up there in the award race. Mm-hmm. I would love to see that, but I think that would obviously...
I think that runs through James Harden, LeBron James, or Steph, or Kevin Durant first.
You still have Anthony Davis, who could win it. So, but this team obviously is looking very good, and just they have the talent to do it. We'll see where it ends up taking them.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're going to leave it for this first episode. No, it's kind of a short episode because we had the audio issues.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back probably every Sunday, unless something really random or drastic occurs. Even then, one of us could maybe, if we feel the need to step in. Real quick before we go, I want to give you guys an update. We are working on getting Pat Boylan on the show. I've been in contact with him. Unfortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but he had a wedding this weekend, which obviously family and stuff like that takes precedent. So we're working on getting him on the show. We've got some other guests that I'm trying to, Kristen Airy included. I'm actually in class with his son, so I have a contact right there. But so yeah, we're working on getting guests, and obviously still the ultimate goal is a player on the show. But always working to get some more guests on for you guys, so you don't have to listen to Dylan and I's annoying voice probably for 50-ish minutes. But that's all we got for this week. We'll be back, as we said, next Sunday, talking more Pacers, probably recapping some preseason games. As we said,
get to talk about some games.
Yeah, it's preseason basketball, but hey, we're talking basketball, so that's all that matters. So for Dylan Deanhurt, I'm Cody Emerson. Go Pacers.